Baltimore has won the toss. They deferred. Cleveland will receive. So Brandon Weeden, the 29-year-old rookie out of Oklahoma State, will be taking the field in a moment.
Yeah, you see, threw for over 300 yards the first time around against Baltimore, and talking with him on Friday, Marvin, feels much more confident this time. He feels like he's a different quarterback. His footwork's better. The ball's coming out quicker. I think the game is starting to slow down for Brandon Weeden.
And back deep for the Browns, one of the best kick return men in the NFL, Josh Cribbs, fourth in the NFL. The average is 30 yards per return. Justin Tucker, rookie out of Texas, getting ready to kick it away. We are underway in Cleveland as Tucker puts it into the end zone. Cribbs will take it out across the 15 and hit down just shy of the 20-yard line. And a look at the Browns, the strength of their offensive line, starting with Joe Thomas, five-time Pro Bowl tackle out of Wisconsin. Backs and receivers, Browns welcoming back wideout Mohamed Massaquoi. He missed the last 5 games with a hamstring injury, but it all starts with the running back Trent Richardson, the rookie from Alabama, 3rd overall pick in the draft, and he is the lone deep back. But Weeden looking to throw on first down and fires down the left sideline. Pass intended for Greg Little. Ravens defensively have been, as we mentioned earlier, struggling mightily up front. Arthur Jones starting for the 2nd straight game, this time for the injured Pernell McPhee. Linebackers remarkably, 5-time Pro Bowler Terrell Suggs back from the torn Achilles, his 2nd game back. And in the secondary, you're all familiar with future Hall of Famer Ed Reed, the 8-time Pro Bowl safety. Richardson, so difficult to bring down. Trent Richardson goes for 9, finally taken down by the left corner, Jimmy Smith.
Well, the Browns are going to find out early whether or not the Ravens have cleaned up and addressed their run defense, and it's been a problem. We've talked about it. Well documented in terms of their inability to stop the run.
Baltimore defensive coordinator Dean Pease telling us last night about Trent Richardson's running style. He said, when I watch him run, his feet are very close together. He has a combination of power and balance, so when you tackle him, you have to wrap him up. Short set for Weeden with time, and then dropped by Alex Smith. Alex Smith, who is starting at fullback. He's a combination tight end and fullback, starting instead of Owen Marisic. Should have made the catch for the first down.
Yeah, they haven't been very good on 3rd down, and that's often very tough on young quarterbacks. A whole different set of circumstances. Defensive coordinators spend so much time on Wednesday nights trying to put game plans together to confuse young quarterbacks with some pressure.
The punt here from Reggie Hodges. Jacoby Jones with the fair catch at the 30-yard line, a 42-yard punt from Hodges. And here comes Joe Flacco for the Ravens.
All right, we saw a very motivated Joe Flacco last night. And I think I always admired about Joe. He's so tough and durable. He's never missed a start. 71 straight starts in the regular season. Extremely athletic, I think, Marv, for a bigger quarterback, guy that can move around and make some plays with his legs as well.
Last week, one of the worst games, though, of his NFL career, I should say 2 weeks ago, actually, against the Texans. Rice in the backfield, and they go right to Ray Rice, who is able to cut back and bring across the 35-yard line. Mayava makes the stop. So look at the Ravens offensive line coming off that long day. Matt Burke, 6-time Pro Bowl center. It'll be of note to see how Ray Rice is used throughout this first half against a Cleveland defense that is ranked 28th against the run. 44 Leach splits out to the far side as Flacco throws on the run and has a first down. Completes to Anquan Bolden. All right, the Browns out of the 4-3, and happy to have Phil Taylor making his season debut, coming back from the chest injury. Linebackers DeQuell Jackson, outstanding game last week in the win over San Diego. And in the secondary, left corner Joe Hayden missed that earlier meeting with the Ravens, serving that 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's drug policy, and he's been significant. And the Browns winning 2 of the last 3. Rice is bottled up. No gain on the play. James Michael Johnson, the strong side linebacker, making the tackle.
Yeah, I think this Browns run defense is going to be tested today. You just get the sense that the Ravens want to crank up the running game and get more touches for Ray Rice. You know, one of the things that we talked to offensive coordinator Cam Cameron about was the amount of touches that Ray Rice has gotten so far this season. He thinks they're right on track. He'll get plenty more here in the second half of the season.
Double tight end, and Rice again a stop. This time, Frosty Rucker was right there. Just a yard gain for Rice.
Well, you see Phil Taylor there, right in the middle of your picture. That's going to be so important. Getting a healthy Phil Taylor back in is a huge boost for this defense. And they're going to monitor his reps today.
It's Phil Taylor getting involved with Marshall Yonda, the Ravens right guard, and Yonda lost his balance with some help. 3rd down and 8. Flacco with time. Caught by Anquan Bolden. Let's see where they spotted. It is right at the marker. DeQuell Jackson on the stop. In their earlier meeting in late September in Baltimore, the Ravens beat the Browns 23-16. That was a Thursday night game. Phil Dawson became just the 7th player in NFL history to hit 3 field goals of 50 yards or longer in a single game. And Flacco throwing 46 times, 28 of 46. He was sacked 4 times, threw for a touchdown, and ran for 1. They pick up the first down. Wheaton, meanwhile, threw 52 passes, 25 of 52.
It's a lot for the rookie quarterback, and they certainly don't want that today. They want to be able to ground and pound a little bit against a Ravens defense that's really struggled stopping the run.
Backfield of Rice and Leach lined up in the offset eye. Once again, it is Rice finds the opening. Rice breaks tackles and has a first down. James Michael Johnson able to get to Rice, who picked up 11, and Rice getting the ball here frequently in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I think we can expect plenty more of that. You know, you look at this meeting between the Ravens and the Browns, utter domination by the Ravens. John Harbaugh's never lost to the Browns. You look at that, and the numbers that really jump out to you, the rushing yards, almost twice as many for the Ravens, and the turnovers, way too many for the Browns in a matchup between 2 division rivals.
First down for Baltimore. Rice gets the call again, and able to dart his way to the 31. Picked up 4. John Hughes, who is rotating with Phil Taylor, making the tackle. What about the no huddle being used by the Ravens? Joe Flacco saying how difficult it has been because of communication on the road.
I think you're going to see less of it. That's one of the studies. As you look at Cam Cameron, they went back and looked at their problems on the road, and part of it was communication. And so when you're having communication problems, then maybe you focus on less of the no huddle. I think they dial it back some here today.
Bernard Pierce has come on. Play fake to Pierce. And the completion for another Raven first down. Ed Dixon, the tight end, making the catch.
Joe Flacco doing a really nice job. They're calling some movement plays, getting Joe out on the edge where he's very good throwing the ball. And when they're not open down the field, he's been very patient. And that's what you have to be against this Dick Duran coach defense. They're a defense that plays a lot of 2 high safeties. They force you to work underneath, and patience is going to be very important for Joe Flacco against this Browns defense.
First down at the Cleveland 24. Pierce remains as the feature back. Again, the play fake, and Flacco fires. It is caught inside the 10 for a first down and more. Anquan Bolden coming up with his 32nd catch of the season, and that's an advance of 16.
Well, they do a really nice job with Anquan Bolden off the play action fake. He's going to sell the post. You see him at the top of your screen. He puts his foot in the ground and comes right back to Joe Flacco. Very difficult route to defend.
Rice is back again. The no huddle. Rice inside the 5 and walks in. Touchdown, Baltimore. He went 8 yards for the score. A missed tackle by Phil Taylor as Rice in a burst was able to whip by.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of missed tackles there. They do a nice job with this outside zone play, and you see Taylor misses a tackle right there. And of course, you can't tackle back like Ray Rice up high. You got to get him low down around his legs.
Fast start for Rice. Only 9 carries last game a couple of weeks ago against the Texans. Already 6 for 32, and the extra point by Justin Tucker. So they go 10 plays, 70 yards in about 5.5 minutes as Rice takes it in for the score. There you see the scoring summary. And how about the Ravens with only their first opening drive touchdown of the season?
Yeah, and they've not started well on the road either, Marv. It's been a real problem. And you look at that game against Houston, 6 3-and-outs in the first half.
And here comes Justin Tucker. Cribbs will run it out again. Angles left. Across the 20 where he is taken down. Runs it out 27 yards, so Ray Rice getting to it early. And it pays off as he comes up with his 6th touchdown of the season.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Acura Advance. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Cleveland, Ohio, the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon, Cleveland Browns Stadium. The Ravens have a 7-0 lead. Trent Richardson in the backfield, but Brandon Whedon slings it out. And here's Richardson, cuts back the other way. And as we mentioned earlier, so tough to bring down as he gets across the 30. It's Janelle McClain and Ed Reed combining to stop Richardson, an 8-yard pass play.
Well, look how late he is to get to the back. This is a dangerous throw. We always use the expression, if you wait, you're late. That could have been picked off by Paul Kruger. Talk about being in rhythm in the passing game. Boy, that's a very fortunate break there for Brandon Whedon. That ball has to come out on time.
2nd and a yard, and Richardson able to pick it up on the ground and lost the ball. It's loose and covered up by the Browns. The right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, able to recover.
Well, this is something that Trent Richardson did a great job of last week with the rain and the wind, and you see him right there in the hole. I don't think he ever feels it. Someone knocks it out. But he does a nice job. He actually pushed it through the pile to another rookie on the other side, Mitchell Schwartz.
Schwartz, the right tackle, a 2nd-round draft pick out of the University of California. Lost about a half yard. 3rd down play. Play action. This time leading with time, and there's an open man, and penalty flag is thrown as the ball was slightly overthrown.
Brandon Whedon has to hit him. My gosh, you can't get him much more open than that. You've got Chris Ogbonnaya going up the sidelines. You fool him on a short yardage play, and
pass interference, offense, number 13. The penalty is declined, 4th down.
And Ogbonnaya wide open. The interference is called on Josh Gordon, rookie receiver out of Baylor.
Well, he's going to call him for what's happening is he's actually going to set a little screen. See, he comes back underneath. Oh, how could they ever call that on? That's a bad call on Josh Gordon. My gosh. He had nothing to do with the play.
So here's Reggie Hodges with his 2nd punt this first quarter. Cribbs angling right, and that runs it out. should say Jacoby Jones runs it out of bounds. 42-yard punt and an 8-yard return by Jones. Browns head coach Pat Shurmur in his second year as the head coach here in Cleveland, 14th year overall as an NFL coach. Not happy about that interference call just a moment ago.
Well, he shouldn't be. I mean, all he's doing, if you go back and watch, Josh Gordon is trying to run a post route. He's trying to go right through the middle, and he's going to get hit downfield by Smith. I mean, that's just incidental contact. That's not a penalty on Josh Gordon. And not only that, but it's away from the play. The ball is going to open eye. That's kind of a poor call.
Ravens start out at the 34. Bernard Pierce with a nice run to quell Jackson on the stop, but a flag is in. Referee is Jeff Triplett.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 82 covered up the tight end. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the wide receiver, Torrey Smith. Baltimore makes a change on their offensive line. They bring in Ja Reed, a second-year man from Central Florida, for Marshall Yonda at right guard. Yonda in that disagreement earlier with Phil Taylor. Bernard Pierce remains in the backfield, takes the handoff, finds an opening and runs it across the 35, met by Sheldon Brown. Bernard Pierce, a rookie from Temple, a third-round draft pick, coming into today only 23 carries, Rich, but he's averaged 5 yards per pop.
They're having a lot of success right now running behind the left side of that offensive line. Bobby Williams and Michael Orr, along with Ed Dixon over there, getting really good movement at the point of attack.
6 minutes remaining, first quarter. Ravens with that impressive first drive for the touchdown. Here's Pierce off the toss, spinning his way, but a good job by the Browns as he ends up out of bounds at the 39-yard line, bumped out by T.J. Ward. To get the latest news, analysis, and predictions from Pat Kerwin, Pete Prisco, and other CBS sports experts, watch Pro Football 360 live weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern or on demand at cbssports.com/Pro Football 360. Third down and 5 for Baltimore. Ray Rice re-enters the lineup. Flacco from the gun. Underneath. The catch made at the marker by Bolden. And it appears that he has the first down. Joe Hayden with the tackle.
Anquan Bolden so good on these little shallow crosses and these drive routes because he's so big and strong. He's a big target, of course, for Joe Flacco. Got a Pro Bowl on the backside of him, Joe Hayden. But this is a good job at the top, pushing, creating some separation, and giving Joe Flacco a big target.
Fourth catch for both. Rice able to get to the outside. Ray Rice running very well. Bust a screen coming up to make the stop. Ray Rice in his fifth year out of Rutgers. Last season ran for 1,364 yards, 76 receptions, scored 15 touchdowns in all, and led the NFL with over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Rice and Leach in the backfield. And apparently short of the first down on that catch. It was a 2nd and 1, and Leach, the fullback, is able to pick it up.
Well, I thought it was great last night, Mark. We got a chance to sit down with Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. Of course, we talked about Ray Rice. He said there's a master plan for Ray Rice. It's by design. During the second half of the season, I think his carries go up, and when the weather starts to change, particularly in this division, you have to be able to run the football, but you need a healthy and fresh back in the second half of the season. And you remember now, Cam Cameron had a lot of success for a long time with Daniel Thomas, and he knows how to monitor these reps over the course of the season.
First down play for Flacco. Oh, what a catch is made by Torrey Smith. Joe Hayden, the left corner, on the coverage. Torrey Smith with a beautiful sideline catch, and that's good for 26 yards.
This is a good matchup between two young players, and not really that bad of coverage by Joe Hayden, but my gosh, Torrey Smith about jumps out of his shoes to make that play.
First down again. Here's the handoff to Rice. DeQuell Jackson is there. Rice picks up 3. So once again, the Ravens in the no huddle, and Flacco telling us they'd like to run it a little faster.
Yeah, they do, but again, communication was part of the issue that they discovered when they went back and looked at the no huddle, particularly on the road with protections, the backs and receivers, and so shouldn't be a problem here today. This is kind of a quiet home crowd here in Cleveland.
Flag is down.
There is no foul for 12 men on the field of the defense. The player was coming off the bench after the play was over, counted as the 12th.
Honest mistake.
So pull it back. And it will be a 2nd and 7 for the Ravens, just inside the Browns' 15-yard line. A strong start for Flacco, 6 for 6, 70 yards. Rice remains as the feature back. Here's Rice to the edge, down to the 10 and pushed out of bounds by Michael Johnson.
Well, you forget how strong Ray Rice is. He's going to see Parker. He's right in position to make a play. Look how strong that upper body is for Ray Rice. And I keep telling these guys, you can't tackle him up high. I mean, he's just too hard. He's too powerful and too strong. He's got that low center of gravity, and he always, of course, runs with great balance.
Rice picking up 5 more, and now Bernard Pierce checks back in. They work out of the eye. 3rd down and 2. Here's Pierce straight ahead. Picked up 3 for the first down. Jabal Sheard, the left defensive end, made the stop, and again a flag comes in.
That might be against Baltimore.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 30 of the offense. Kicked another player. 15-yard penalty.
That's the rookie running back out of Temple, Bernard Pierce, who is called for the kick after the run.
Well, they really like him, but you got to be able to have some patience and poise. You just watch, he's trying to get up, and the Browns defenders are going to lay on you. And there's a lot of talking going on. He tries to kick Jabal Sheard off him, and the official right there to make the call. You got to be smart. You've got to be able to have some patience, particularly in that part of the field. That's a costly penalty for the Ravens.
Ball placed back at the 21-yard line. It's called after the play, so it is a 1st and 10 for the Ravens. Minute 20 left in this first quarter. Here's Rice, and he is bottled up. Try to go straight ahead. A gain of 3. Ward with the stop. Ray Rice has rushed for 150 yards in a game 5 times in his career. 2 of those games here in Cleveland, including his career high 204 rushing yards last season. That was back in week 13. To this point, 10 carries, 52 yards, including a touchdown. 2nd and 7. Rice try to follow the fullback leads, then cut back in, making his way to the 12, where Sheard is there to make the stop.
Yeah, much different approach than what we saw the last time the Ravens lined up on offense. 15 runs and just 6 passes, and I think they have to be able to play that run-first, smash-mouth football. I think that's really when they're at their best. When the weather starts to change, particularly in this division, you think everybody plays outside Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Cleveland. The Ravens at home, and you've got to be able to pound the rock in November.
For this 3rd and 1, Bernard Pierce back on the field. Takes the toss, gets the block to the 5, touchdown. Beautiful block to unleash Pierce, the block thrown by the wide receiver Anquan Bolden. The Ravens with a 13-0 lead. And Bernard Pierce with his first NFL touchdown. I believe he will keep the football. Now Justin Tucker for the extra point, and that will conclude this first quarter. Another look as Bernard Pierce, who had come on for Ray Rice, is able to take it home. That's the end of the first. We'll be back to Cleveland in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Now more than ever, Droid does. And by E-Trade. Works beautifully.
Well, the officiating crew just added one additional second to the end of the first quarter, so although we saw double zeros before, there is 1 second remaining, which allows us time for the kickoff from Tucker with Cribbs back. Tough one to handle, and he'll stay right there. The touchdown, 12 plays, 66 yards, 6 minutes and 53 seconds by the rookie Bernard Pierce. So the Ravens have a 14-0 lead on the Browns. Because there was no return on that kickoff, you see still 1 second remaining in the first quarter. The Browns start out from their 20-yard line. Trent Richardson is the running back. It's stiff-arming his way. Picks up 4. McClellan with the tackle, and that, Rich, officially is the end.
Finally.
Yes, of the first quarter.
Then back here in Cleveland, here's who they're trying to fool, the defensive end, the linebacker, with some misdirection by faking the belly action. But what they really want to do, obviously, is toss the ball on the perimeter to Pierce. And the action away is enough, just enough to get a freeze on the linebacker and give Pierce a clear angle and lane to the end zone.
Second quarter underway, a 2nd and 6 for the Browns from their 24. Richardson cuts back. Richardson with the first down and is run out across the 40 by Ed Reed. What a move by the rookie Trent Richardson, who goes for 19.
And one of the things that I've found out in watching tape of the Ravens defense, they've not done a good job cutting off the backside. So now they've got them sealed up inside. Look at everybody squeezed back down inside. So they've not done a good job keeping their angles and forcing a back like Trent Richardson up inside.
Have you stopped watching film? You made the transfer?
I'm on the tape now. Yeah.
All right, here is Wheaton in the left flat, able to complete at midfield to the tight end, Benjamin Watson. Picked up 11, so another first down for Cleveland. Consecutive first downs. Baltimore has 11 first downs for Cleveland, just 2.
Yeah, that's not something you normally see. Ed Reed missing a tackle. They've got some good tight ends here when you think about Benjamin Watson, Jordan Cameron, and Alex Smith, who's now playing some fullback as well.
First down in Baltimore territory at the 46-yard line. Play action. Penalty marker down. Wheaton throws it away. Wheaton could not find an open receiver, but there is a flag down. See Brandon Wheaton over to talk with Pat Shermer.
Illegal formation. Offense. The wideout lefty tackle uncovered. That penalty's declined. Second down.
You know, you go back and you look at some of these throws now that he's missing. I mean, all they're trying to do is get the ball across the field, but he's got to be able to throw it to the tight end. I mean, they don't get much more wide open than this. Look at all this field out in front. Go ahead and throw the football. He's open. He's got to throw it. And I've seen a number of instances already here through the first quarter where he's missed some open receivers.
2nd and 10, Richardson gang tackled at the 40-yard line. Remember in the offseason, the Browns tried to trade up with the Colts for the first pick in order to draft Andrew Luck. Then they tried to acquire the draft pick that would have been RG3, could not pull that off, so they draft the then 28-year-old rookie, Brandon Whedon, out of Oklahoma State on the 22nd pick. Whedon, you wonder why is a guy 28 years old playing college football? He had spent 5 years in the Yankee and Dodger minor league system. As he says, he was a struggling pitcher. Wheaton's pass is complete. He has Greg Little for a first down. 6-yard pickup. Whedon says he's developed a pretty good short-term memory, which, as you know, Rich, comes in handy for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's quite a class of rookies. They're all getting a chance to play, all starting right now. And I think that you look where Brandon Whedon is, and in fairness to him, he's got some young receivers. 3 of the top 4 receivers are rookies. The other one being Greg Little, a second-year player. Right now, you see a little bit of an indecision with Brandon Whedon when it comes to throwing the ball to his receivers.
Browns have 2 tight ends on the field. Deep drop by Whedon, and he throws underneath. He has Josh Gordon and a flag down. Albert McClellan making the stop on Gordon, the rookie out of Baylor, who was taken as a second pick in the supplemental draft. Josh Gordon has really come on as of late. 4 touchdowns the last 4 games.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It is on the inside linebacker, Jameel McLean. He and Donnell Ellerby have been playing for the injured Ray Lewis.
Yeah, he's just right here. A lot of these crossing routes, he's just going to grab the tight end here, right there, and just hold on. Not a big deal, but beyond 5 yards.
McLean is the guy now wearing the radio, getting the communication.
Getting all the help from Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator.
A timeout is taken by the Browns. 3 minutes gone by, second quarter. Ravens 14, Browns nothing. Reminder coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Richardson accelerates, gets inside the 25, goes for 6, met by the strong safety Bernard Pollard, along with inside linebacker Jameel McLean.
This is an important possession for the Browns because they really can't afford to fall behind early. That directly impacts their ability to stay after it in the running game, and they're not built to throw it a bunch right now with so many young players at key positions.
See the Browns' first 2 drives, 6 plays, 18 yards, and they've come on this drive. Second down and 4. Once again, Richardson to the outside, able to make the cut, has the first down. Boy, every time he gets the ball, this crowd gets excited. And Donnell Ellerby on the tackle, but 7 more for Richardson.
Yeah, you've got to have a lot of respect for a guy like Trent Richardson when you talk to a Pro Bowler like Terrell Suggs and he says this guy's an old school player. He likes confrontation, not a lot of dodging in the hole. He's kind of more of a downhill back, and he's been very impressive. We got a chance to see him last week, and of course, again this week going up against what I think a much better defense.
7 carries, 50 yards for Richardson. Gets the call again. He's able to hurdle. An attempted tackle. Picked up just a yard. You mentioned Terrell Suggs. It is incredible that he is back from the torn Achilles tendon. Last season's Defensive Player of the Year, 14 sacks a year ago, 5-time Pro Bowler. Talking with him last night, he said at one point he was depressed. He didn't think he could go through the rehab to make it back.
It's incredible what he's done, and I tell you, the guy coming off the bye now, he's got extra time to heal up and more reps in practice. I expect even a better performance from Terrell Suggs.
Whedon threw behind Richardson. So it is incomplete. Ellerby on the coverage, and that was the 10th play of the drive.
He's going to get these backs killed. You look at your eyes. When you got to trust your feet. What does that mean, trust your feet? When you take that first hit to the back, if it's not there, you got to move through your progressions. He's late moving through his progressions, which makes him late to his outlet, which is the back. He's got to play faster. He's got to see things. The game has not slowed down. He talks about it being slow, but you see him right now. He's missed some open receivers. It gets back to the conversation. You have a lot of young quarterbacks. In college, they're all open. What's open at this level? Well, if you've got any separation between the defender and the receiver, that's open. You've got to be able to throw them open sometimes. Whedon's got to play better.
Well, that play clock just ran down, and the Browns have to use another timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by 1&1 My Website, where creating a business website is easy. New York Life Insurance Company. And by Volkswagen. It's not the miles, it's how you live them.
Back in Cleveland, Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, 14-0 lead for the Ravens. 5 minutes in. Second quarter, third down and 9. Whedon completes to Alex Smith. And way short of a first down, picked up about 3. Paul Kruger and Corey Graham combined to make the tackle.
Well, you talk about the problems they've had defensively, and they've not tackled well and swarming to the football. That's something they've been preaching through the Bible. Look at all these helmets. Look at all these black and purple helmets coming in here. That's good to see if you're a Ravens fan.
So here is Phil Dawson from 32 yards out, 12 for 12 for the season, and he's connected on his last 18. Make it 19 straight for the 14-year veteran out of Texas. The Browns on the board. They're down 14-3. Cleveland quarterback Brandon Whedon. As you look at the scoring summary, 12 plays, 66 yards, 541, led to the 32-yard field goal by Phil Dawson. Dawson will kick it off. Jacoby Jones averaging 39 yards from 9 returns, including a 108-yard return for a touchdown, tying Ellis Hobbs and Randall Cobb for the longest in NFL history. But Jones is stopped at the 20 by L.J. Fort, went 21 on that return. You can help the victims of disasters like Hurricane Sandy. Text Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. CBS cares. And Browns head coach Pat Shurmur, who lives off Lake Erie, was affected by Hurricane Sandy, hitting this area. He and his family without power for about 3 days after the storm hit. Ray Rice picks up 4. And can use some more power and explosiveness here from his team.
They need his young quarterback to play better. I think Brandon Whedon's struggling right now a little bit, missing some open throws and getting themselves behind in the down and distance. That's not a good thing against this Baltimore defense.
Backfield of Rice and Leach working out of the eye for the second down and 6. And Flacco with the completion across midfield to the tight end Dennis Pitta. 3-year man from Brigham Young, 31st catch of the season, and he's emerged as one of Joe Flacco's favorite targets.
Yep. Pitta's going to start him inside like he's going to the post, and then he works all the way back to the corner. Really nice throw here by Joe Flacco. And even Joe Flacco, he's moving back to his right, and yet they throw it all the way back across the field down that left sideline.
27-yard pickup. It's been a terrific first half for Flacco. 7 of 7, 97 yards. Swings it out. Smith is trapped back behind the line. James Michael Johnson, strong side linebacker, was not fooled on that swing pass. That's a loss of 4.
Look at the difference between the Ravens at home this year and on the road. I mean, they've struggled in the passing game. You look at points per game and, of course, the record. And I think they were really embarrassed, Mar, by what happened before the bye in Houston, losing by 30 points or more for just the 3rd time in franchise history. The whole emphasis over the bye and talking to the coaching staff, playing better football on the road. And I think that means running a little bit better, and protecting it better.
2nd and 14. Here's Rice trying to follow a blocker and then tripped up. 4-yard advance for Ray Rice. Questions during the week in Baltimore. Why has the workload of Ray Rice dramatically fallen off? And that question really dealt with what took place in the game against Houston, which was out of hand, but he was not getting the ball. Only 9 carries for 42 yards. Different story here in the first half this afternoon. Flacco with time, gets the protection and then guns it. Here's Rice, and the crowd reacts as Rice is stopped in his tracks at the 45. A gain of just 2.
There's really nowhere to go with that one. Joe Flacco looking downfield, trying to get that first down, and nobody open, so he has to kick it back to Ray Rice, who, as you know, can be very, very good in the passing game as well. You know, I did the game last week here, Marvin, and you look at Josh Cribbs. I thought he really struggled with his punt return. I think he misplayed a bunch of kicks, allowed him to hit the ground. And
beautiful punt this time by Sam Cook, not allowing the return. Goes down as just a 32, but Cribbs had to make the fair catch. So when we come back, another look at Brandon Wheaton. See what he can do for the Browns.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC. Come in today and taste why fresh is better.
Back at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Look at the time of possession. Baltimore's had it for 26 and 6, and Cleveland at 15 and 44. Time of possession a problem for the Ravens, although that is not always a telling statistic, particularly when you look at the record. They're 5 and 2. This is Trent Richardson. They fake the reverse, and Richardson with a nice run. He was brought down by the right corner, Kerry Williams. A 15-yard pickup by Richardson.
Well, I just love the way this back runs. I mean, you talk about balance. And I thought what Dean Pease had to say about him, the fact that you look at his feet are always shoulder width apart, and he always has them underneath him, and so very rarely do you see this guy off balance. Great balance and power at the point of attack.
Like Ellaby missed the tackle, which is easy to do against Richardson, against the call again. And picked up 2 on the play. All right, let's go to New York. Set for an update. JB and Boomer.
Chicago with 2 more points than their game average.
The guys, they've scored a touchdown on special teams, on defense. And here comes Brandon Marshall from Jay Cutler. They are smothering the Titans 28-2, and they still have a ton of time left in the first half.
Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, thanks, guys. 2nd down and 8 here as Wheaton with time fires downfield. And Josh Gordon not able to make the catch. Had good position on the right corner, Kerry Williams.
Well, they had the coverage they want. A pretty good throw here by Brandon Wheaton. I don't think he can get his other arm free. Actually, he does get them both up. I thought Kerry Williams was holding that left arm. See him locked in there with that left arm? But you look at the drops. They've had a bunch of them this year. 22 drops, tied for most in the NFL. It's been a problem with some of these young receivers. Many times they're looking to turn up and run with the football before they actually catch it.
Wheaton now just 4 of 10, only 28 yards. 3rd down and 8 for the Browns. Wheaton has a wide open receiver. The catch is made by Gordon. I think Gordon was surprised there was no one else in sight on the part of the Ravens. He had to come back for that ball, and it ends up as a 26-yard pass play.
This is driving me crazy. I mean, you just watch how wide open he is. He's just sitting here waiting for it. And not only that, but give him a better throw. Give him a throw that he can actually run with. And he may score. Brandon Wheaton taking way too long to find these receivers open down the field.
Josh Gordon, the rookie from from Baylor, started at the University of Utah, then transferred to Baylor. Timeout is being taken now by the Ravens, their first timeout. When we come back, Cleveland with a 1st and 10 with 4 minutes left in the first half. We see every time Whedon is on the sideline, they put that huge jacket on him. I know he had said during the week he'd like to play with gloves, but head coach Pat Shermer says, hey, if you don't practice with gloves, you don't play with gloves.
That makes some sense. That would make me nervous as a coach, too, when the rookie quarterback didn't practice with him and decides to wear them on Sundays.
Richardson looking for the hole. Makes his way to the 40, goes for 4. D'Angelo Tyson, playing only a second NFL game. Played a couple of weeks ago in Houston, a rookie, a 7th-round draft pick out of Georgia, able to make that stop. 2nd down and 6. Coming up on 3.5 remaining in this first half. It's been an excellent first half for Joe Flacco and the Ravens. Flacco 9 for 9, 95 yards. Play fake to Richardson. Wheaton throws, and is caught down at the 20-yard line by Little, puts a move on, cuts to the right, gets to the 16, putting a move on Jimmy Smith, who made the tackle. It's a 24-yard hookup.
Well, now he's starting to find his rhythm a little bit down the field, and in years past, they've really had a struggle getting the ball down the field. Nice stack release where you see Gordon out in front, and Little creates a little bit of a screen for him. Really nice throw here by Brandon Whedon, giving Little a chance. He's a big, strong receiver, tough to bring down in the open field.
First out of the 17, the pitch to Richardson. Looked to cut around the left side, and not much there. Paul Kruger held him to a 1-yard gain. Some hard hitting in this second quarter. Take a listen.
Sometimes you don't need to see a good hit. You can just listen to it, and you can just feel it up here in the booth.
I felt that one myself. And Trent Richardson is playing, as we mentioned earlier, with that rib cage injury. That has been very painful. Here's the draw. Richardson trying to go up the middle. He is stopped at the 15, just a yard on the play. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in this first half. Ravens with a 14-3 lead on the Browns. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Ravens have 2 timeouts remaining. The Browns with 1. Cleveland trying to get back into it, trailing 14-3. 3rd down and 8 at the Raven 15-yard line. Whedon swings to the right flat. He has Smith taken down across the 10-yard line. Picked up 4. Corey Graham, the right corner, making the tackle, and now a timeout is taken by the Ravens, so they'll have 1 remaining. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, Dan over on the left, apparently upset with something Boomer had to say.
But maybe he had a headache or something. Listening to Boomer all day will give you a headache.
You'll be hearing from Norman Esiason. And here's Phil Dawson, who hit from 32 earlier, trying to make it 14 out of 14 lifetime against Baltimore here in Cleveland, and does just that. Dawson overall has hit 20 straight. The 2 field goals by Mr. Automatic Phil Dawson have cut that Raven lead to 14-6, and then Dawson puts it out of reach. So it's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line with 1:47 to go in this first half. Well, coming up on Monday, nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Rich Gannon, Phil Simms, Steve Berline on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Three wideouts for the Ravens. Ray Rice, the running back, off the fake. Torrey Smith on the reception, but stopped in his tracks, picked up 5. Torrey Smith, second-round draft pick last year out of Maryland. And outstanding rookie year, 50 catches, 7 touchdowns. They are in the no-huddle, second out and 5. Flacco being chased and throws it away. That for Joe Flacco, his first incompletion, connecting on his first 10.
You know, I think this is an area where Joe Flacco has gotten a lot better in their 2-minute and their no-huddle offense. I think there's a concerted effort to be a little bit more explosive, have more of that quick strike ability, kind of an up-tempo approach, and an element that they hadn't had in the past, and then they've really made a commitment to it in the first half of the season.
Dog pound has come alive. A little quiet early on for this third down and 5. They'd like to see the Browns get the ball back. They have a timeout remaining, 1:16 left in this first half. And the pass off the mark, so the punting unit will come on. It was intended for Jacoby Jones, covered by Joe Hayden. So Cleveland will have an opportunity with 1:13 left in this first half. Josh Cribbs back deep inside his 30, second punt of the day for Sam Cook, 7-year man from Nebraska. The line drives it. Cribbs able to play the hop and is taken down right at the 40, 45-yard punt, 9-yard return. Sean Considine able to make the tackle. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, he's an MVP quarterback who still keeps his scholarship rejection letters. What makes Aaron Rodgers tick? Find out only on 60 Minutes tonight. Only on CBS. And Aaron Rodgers, as you know, was about 5'10", 165, 175 pounds as a high school quarterback, a very good one. Same as he looked to go to college and went to a community college before he finally went on to the University of California, but he was rejected on a number of occasions. Richardson is tied up, had nowhere to go. Trent Richardson picked up just 2.
I think that fuels a lot of NFL players, that rejection letter that Aaron holds on to. You know, even sitting in that green room all day for the draft and not going until later in the first round, having to play behind Brett Favre. Now we're talking about a reigning NFL MVP.
Whedon out of the gun. Swings it out as the open receiver. Richardson runs it out short of a first down. Picked up 7. Kerry Williams made the stop.
Well, you know, I've seen a number of routes. Just keep an eye on the cross route. Go ahead and roll it here, and just, you know, sometimes I don't know how much more wide open. Like, stop it right there. I mean, just throw it to him. He's right there. Just make one guy miss right here. And he's passing up these first receivers. You can't pass up the first receiver and expect that the second or third are going to be open.
Just 29 seconds remaining in this first half. Deep drop by Wheaton and able to complete. The tight end Watson runs it out of bounds. Getting back to Aaron Rodgers. Nothing personal, Rich. Did you face rejection?
Are you kidding? About every point in my career, high school, college, and even in the NFL. Certainly, I didn't come into the league of the silver spoon in the mouth. You got to work for it. And Aaron Rodgers, to his credit, he's done it the right way. He's worked his way into being one of the best in the business.
See Phil Dawson getting ready, although Cleveland with a 1st and 10, working the clock. Wheaton's pass is caught by Little and runs it out at the marker. An 11-yard gain and a first down for the Browns.
Well, it's It's not always pretty, but it's working. You see Little, he's just going to work in and back out. Pretty good coverage there by Graham, and yet just a perfect throw gets it done to Little.
First and 10 from the 30, 17 seconds remaining. It is dropped.
That actually helps him.
Yeah, dropped by Richardson.
Incompletions don't hurt you in 2 minutes. Marv, I go back to the last possession that the Ravens have, and really surprised a little that they didn't run the ball on third down and make the Browns use that last timeout that they had. Browns right now already in field goal range.
Well, this would be from 47 right here, and Dawson is hit from 32. He's hit from 28. Only 11 seconds remaining. And they do have a timeout remaining. Josh Gordon flanked wide right. Whedon looking the other way. Whedon's pass, it's caught. The question is, was he inbound? And the call is yes, he was. Travis Benjamin makes the catch for 19 yards.
Boy, that's a big-time throw by Whedon and a nice catch on the sidelines by Benjamin, and that's what Brandon Whedon gives you. He's got a big-time arm, can make those difficult throws. The great thing about that one was he brought Benjamin all the way back down the sidelines away from the corner.
Down to 6 seconds. And Phil Dawson with an angle to the right will attempt a 29-yarder. He's hit 20 in a row. It is good. 3 field goals by Dawson. A nice drive, spearheaded by the quarterback Brandon Wheaton. And the Browns very much back in it. They're down 14-9, 3 seconds left. Cleveland Browns have come back from a 14-0 deficit. 3 field goals by Phil Dawson. 7 plays, 50 yards in just 1 minute, leading to the 29-yard field goal by Dawson. Only 3 seconds to play in the half, and Dawson will kick it away. Jacoby Jones, always dangerous, back deep. And it's a strong kick. Jones will have to let it go. So they'll have time for 1 play starting out from the 20-yard line.
And Whedon has played a lot better, Marv, in the second quarter. Didn't get off to a great start, but now you look at his numbers, 11 of 18 for 129 yards. And the best thing that he's done is he's taken better care of the football. Coming to today's game, 35 straight possessions without a turnover. It's the best in the league right now. And at least he's given him a chance. He's given him a chance to be in games late, and that's all you can ask from a young quarterback.
Well, they line up, and Flacco will take a knee, and that will do it for the first half. 14-0 lead at one stretch for the Ravens. 3 field goals by Dawson at the end of the first half. Ravens 14, Browns 9. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47.
This is a legendary dog bell right here. We playing for something, man.
Welcome back to Cleveland, Ohio, where the Baltimore Ravens lead the Cleveland Browns 14-9 as we head to the second half. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon. And as I look back at that first half, anything surprise you?
Well, I think the Ravens came in there and did what they wanted to do. They got off to the fast start that they haven't been able to do on the road. They ran the football well with Ray Rice in the first half. I really thought it was a tale of 2 quarters when you think about the Ravens starting so well in the first quarter, but then the Cleveland Browns and Brandon Whedon kind of storming back in the second quarter. They played much better. He hit some open receivers. They got the running game going a little bit. So really a tale of 2 quarters in the first half.
Well, Baltimore certainly did get that ground game going early.
Yeah, they did. They came out running the football well in the first half. Had some fresh legs between Rice and Pierce, and Ray got it going and breaking some tackles, being physical, finishing runs. Pierce chipped in with a with 4 carries for 36 yards, including a 12-yard touchdown run right here. And so 93 rushing yards in the first half for the Ravens. They're averaging about 104 coming into today's game throughout the entire game. So they're off, obviously, to a very good start running the football here against the Browns.
Browns will kick it off. Phil Dawson, who connected on 3 field goals to make it 21 in a row. 3 field goals in that first half. Sends a chopper that is picked up by Jacoby Jones, picking up blockers and going sideline. A flag comes in. Buster Screen making the stop on Jones. The referee is Jeff Triplett.
During return, holding number 37 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
You look at the numbers through the first half. Joe Flacco been very efficient, taking what's there, checking the ball down, hitting Henquan Bolden on a bunch of crossers. And you look at Whedon, who got off to a slow start. I thought he played much better in the second quarter.
Flacco opening up by connecting on his first 10 pass attempts. Ray Rice in the backfield. He's been getting the touches throughout, and this time he's turned back. Try to move to his left and run down by the right defensive end, Frosty Rucker.
Really nice job. Frosty Rucker's going to come off the block by the tight end, Ed Dixon. You just see him force this thing back up inside.
No gain for Rice. He's carried 14 times for 66 yards and a touchdown. And his backup, Bernard Pierce, has played well. 4 carries, 25 yards. And a score. Flacco on a short set. Dangerous pass, but he was able to fit it through. And apparently was broken up. Pitta had it momentarily, and then it was knocked away.
Well, I think Joe just misses this one a little bit on the back shoulder. Would have been a great catch by Pitta. He gets hit right there. He kind of gets sandwiched. Maeva knocks that one out.
Dennis Pitta, the tight end out of Brigham Young, 6'4", 245 pounds, and has been a favorite receiver of Joe Flacco. They've come to life in the dog pound. I thought showed up a little late.
A little late, yeah, they're out tailgating. It's always tough coming out of that end zone when you're backed up.
It's a 3rd and 10. Flacco throwing a blue, incomplete, intended for Torrey Smith. Well covered by the right corner, Sheldon Brown, and the punting unit will come on.
Joe Flacco talked about it when they have that one-on-one coverage. Sheldon Brown, a veteran, he's going to play a lot of press bail coverage and force Torrey Smith to the boundary. Didn't give him a lot of room there, knowing that he had some help over the top from Osama Young.
4 straight incompletions for Flacco. Sam Cook will kick out of his end zone. Josh Cribbs is back inside his 40. Here comes Cribbs. And he is stopped at midfield. 48-yard punt, 7-yard return. Well, from Sam Cook, the Ravens punter, to the other Sam Cook, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Rich, this was solid gold, taking us
Everybody's feeling great. They twist and twist.
Browns take over at their 49-yard line. Trent Richardson, Alex Smith in the backfield. Richardson accelerates inside the 45-yard line. Goes for 8.
I'm going to give you some bad news, some good news, and bad news. These 3 and outs, they're demoralizing to a football team. They had 2 of them in the first quarter. Then you look at what they did in the second quarter. Much better, 12-play drive, 10-play drives, and field goals. Now, the bad news, they keep getting down there in the red zone, and they can't punch it in. Only 13 trips down there this year, fewest coming to today's game, and only 6 red zone touchdowns, the second fewest in the NFL this season. When they get down there, they've got to find a way to punch it in.
3 tight ends on the field for Cleveland. Deep drop by Wheat. And it's almost intercepted. Ed Reed, who has had 10 interceptions in 20 career games against Cleveland,
No, look,
nearly had number 21, rather number 11.
I'm not going to pick on the quarterback, but look, this is just getting to be ridiculous. I stop it right there. I mean, he's wide open, and you can't throw the ball down here where they've got extra defenders. He's getting aggressive. Ed Reed should have picked that one off. Ed Reed, the best center fielder in football, never drops them. Very fortunate there by Brandon Weed.
3rd down and 3. Weed under pressure, and that is intercepted. Kerry Williams looking for some running room and has it down the sideline. Able to cut back to the right. Alex Mack, the center, tried to cut him off. So Ed Reed almost picked off one. And now Kerry Williams comes up with his 4th interception of the season against Cleveland in late September. He intercepted the first pass of his career, returning the pick 63 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I think he's throwing it to the tight end, and Jordan Cameron, he's not even expecting the ball, not even looking for it. As he throws this, it's almost like he's clearing out. Here has an easy one. Easy interception for Kerry Williams.
And he returned it 24 yards to the Cleveland 39. It's going to be reviewed upstairs, being a turnover. They'll take another look.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Chrysler, imported from Detroit.
The booth review involves the question, did Kerry Williams trap the ball as he intercepted, or did he make the catch cleanly?
I think Jeff Triplett's going to award
After
possession
review,
to Baltimore.
the ruling on the field stands.
I think he gets both forearms under this and clearly catches it. He doesn't trap it. And boy, just communication error there. You see the tight end. He's not expecting the ball, and of course, really alert play there by Kerry Williams.
And for the Ravens, their best starting field position of the day from the Cleveland 39 as Rice carries to the 35 and a flag comes in. 4 yards for Rice, stopped by Ishmaeli Kitchen.
74 in the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It's on the left tackle, Michael Orr. And penalties have been a concern for Orr, who committed 10 last season.
Yeah, but he's a guy I think that's gotten more comfortable on the left side. He played right tackle. He's got the flexibility to play either side, and he's done a nice job over there. And you watch where the majority of the runs today have been. They've been behind Michael Orr on the left side.
Ravens set back to a 1st and 20. They go double tight end. Lamar Pierce in the backfield takes the handoff. And he runs into Frosty Rucker after picking up 2.
We're just talking about Michael Orr. He's finishing that run, and you just watch Orr. He's still pushing Mayaba. Look at him just walk him back. Oh, Mayaba's going to kind of flip him.
Ravens 5-2 coming in, lead the AFC North. A game in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'll play the Giants at the New Jersey Meadowlands later today here on CBS. Pass completed to the tight end, Pinna. Took the hard hit outside the 40. That's good for 6. DeQuell Jackson coming off the strong game against the Chargers last week with a season-high 14 tackles. Made the contact right there.
Look how quick, though, Joe Flacco gets that ball out of his hands. And that's one thing I've noticed about him. When he's in the shotgun, he can get that grip and rip it real quick.
Flacco looking at a 3rd down and 13. We are early 3rd quarter here in Cleveland. 14-9 lead for the Ravens. Flacco goes sideline and almost intercepted. Joe Hayden got a hand on it.
Well, you're going to watch Torrey Smith. He's running just a deep comeback. He's going to put his foot in the ground. He starts working back to the boundary, kind of pivots back out. Joe Hayden almost runs the route for him. Joe Flacco trying to bring the receiver back down the boundary. Throw that one outside away from the defender.
Fourth punt of the day for Sam Cook. And Cook's let it go. It carried into the end zone. 42-yard punt. And Cleveland picking up their play from the second quarter on will start out from their 20, trailing 14-9. A capacity crowd better than 70,000 here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. And the Browns showing some signs from the second quarter on. This time Richardson tried to make the cut, could not. He stopped by Upshaw.
Brandon Whedon's been hot and cold here. He's been missing some throws, going to behind some backs. A careless decision here to throw one late down the middle. Ed Reed almost picks that one off. And of course, trying to throw a ball to a tight end is not even looking. Kerry Williams gets that interception. And got to find a way to settle Brandon Whedon back down.
Rich, you look back at Whedon's career at Oklahoma State, this after giving up minor league baseball and the Yankees and Dodgers systems. He threw for 71 touchdowns the last two seasons at Oklahoma State, completing just under 70%. Here's Whedon with a long look, could not find anyone, and then just fires it away with no one in sight. And Whedon accustomed to the shotgun at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, spent a lot of time there, and you just watch him, and then he's running out of options here. He's running to his left, no one over there. Everyone was going towards the right, towards his right, and so he just does the next best thing, throw it away and avoid a sack.
Took the hit from Donnell Ellerby as he released the ball, so it's a 3rd and 10 at the 20. 5 minutes in, third quarter. Ravens with a 14-9 lead on the Browns. Obadiah is in. He's the third down specialist. Whedon looks to run. Covered up by Ellerby, and they will punt.
Well, they're going to bring pressure. You see, not only do you see T. Sizzle, but they're also going to bring another nickel back. It's actually Graham on the inside, and for some reason, Brandon Whedon doesn't see it until it's too late. You see Graham come clean. He just tries to get back to the line of scrimmage.
That officially goes down as a sack. A loss of 3 on the play on the attempt by Whedon. Jacoby Jones, but a flag is down. Good coverage by the Browns. 45-yard punt and just a 1-yard return, but there is a penalty marker thrown.
During the kick, holding number 15 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's called on Laquan Williams. And we will see John Harbaugh's Ravens getting back to the offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Bose, the official home audio sponsor of the NFL.
Ravens take over, 1st and 10, just inside the 30-yard line. Flacco unleashes deep down the left side, and it is incomplete. Intended for Torrey Smith in a race with the right corner, the veteran Sheldon Brown.
Boy, Joe Flacco can really air it out. He's trying to give him a shot, take a shot, but you got to find a way to get back in rhythm here a little bit offensively. They raced off to such a great start. You see this one coming down. He just can't squeeze it. Sheldon Brown pushed him to the boundary. Well, they got off to such a great start in the first quarter. You look at those first 2 drives, and look at the last 5 drives. 4 punts, 3 of them were 3 and outs. They kneeled down at the end of the half. Really struggling here
Second down and 10 out of the gun. Rice is bottled up. And the Browns have done a much better job on Ray Rice after Rice, seeing many touches in that first quarter, was able to run well. In all, 15 carries, 66 yards, including a touchdown. This crowd is getting excited with the play of the Browns. Third down and 10 now for the Ravens. Low snap. Flacco in trouble. Down he goes. Back at the 20. First sack of the game for the Browns. It's Jabal Sheard, the left defensive end, coming up with his second of the season.
And Joe Flacco has pretty good protection initially. He just has nowhere to go with it. You just see they keep pushing. This Jabal Sheard right there. He's getting help from Jaquay Parker. There's just nowhere to go with the football downfield.
Loss of 8 on the play. So Cook is in to punt from his 6-yard line. Josh Cribbs back inside the 30. Cribbs will run it. Put the brakes on at the 40, picked up a few more. 50-yard punt, 13-yard return. The special team specialist, Brendan Ayamandejo, able to make the stop. This is a Cleveland Brown team that is 2-6. They've won 2 of their last 3, 2 straight at home. Had that tough loss at Indianapolis, sandwiched in between the 2 wins. Richardson darting to midfield. Met by Jameel McClain, picked up 6 on the play. Tomorrow, Barney has a new wingman. Catch a new How I Met Your Mother. That's tomorrow only. CBS. Dog Pound, as we mentioned earlier, had been very passive, very quiet until things started to erupt for the Browns in the second quarter. And we're seeing a bit more excitement. Browns now go with 3 wideouts. Second down and 4. Richardson, the running back. Richardson battling his way. Again, it's McClain on the stop. Richardson picked up 2. In fact, when Terrell Suggs came out early and he likes to check the dog pound, he was surprised. Take a listen.
Is this the legendary dog pound right here? Hey, you know I made my living off the Browns now.
He couldn't find anyone. He was actually disappointed. He said, where are you guys?
He's had some big days against the Browns, no question about that.
Third down and 2. Here's the swing. Richardson finds running room and has a first down at the 45-yard line. Met by Bernard Pollard, the strong safety. Let's see, well, they didn't give him the favorable spot, but they say, yes, it is. First down, Cleveland.
A little slip screen. They want to get the back out on the edge with the lineman downfield. Watch Pollard come in here and get some help from a linebacker inside. Pollard's kind of the enforcer in that secondary. I think he's at his best when he's down around the line of scrimmage.
Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the third. 14-9, Ravens over the Browns. Time for Wheat. Oh, he threw a bullet, not handled by Richardson, and a flag down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 59. Hit above the head, hit above the shoulders to a defenseless receiver. 15 yards, automatic first down.
It is on the inside linebacker, Donnell Ellaby, the 4-year man from Georgia, and this will cost.
Oh, he hits him right in the face. You got to lower the aiming point. That's hard sometimes. You got to more compact running back like a Trent Richardson. You got to get really low to avoid those type of penalties.
Cleveland first down at the Baltimore 30. Handoff now to Benjamin. And a flag comes flying again. The reverse for Travis Benjamin, the wideout, circling into the backfield, and it looked to be Kerry Williams who was able to bump him out. 8-yard pickup. The officials talking things over. Nice play, little gadget play run by the Browns with Benjamin, the 4th-round pick out of Miami. Baltimore's been hit for 6 penalties. No penalties for the Browns.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, blindside block number 13 for the offense.
That will be Josh Gordon.
Unsportsmanlike on the bench of the defense. Those penalties were offset by rule. It will remain first down.
Well, the bench of the Ravens called for the personal foul.
Well, let's go back and take a look at it. What they're going to do is they're actually going to try and fool you, and they're going to run the reverse. But here comes the block by Gordon on Ed Reed. And that's where they're going to get him. He cracks him down around the line of scrimmage. He really knocks him out right there. Didn't see what happened afterwards. They call a bench penalty on the Ravens,
which may have been for profanity. Here's Richardson on the first down play and able to make something out of very little. Looked like they had him trapped behind the line, and then McClain, who you get the idea has been spying on Richardson, because every tackle of Richardson is Jameel McClain.
Yeah, he's been around, and then you see Ed Reed, and I'll tell you, Ed Reed I got so much respect for him, having played against him, and he just, how tough a competitor. He's not the biggest guy back there, but he has no problem throwing his weight around. You see him flying around making plays. He gets knocked down on a blindside hit. He's right back up there. He's got his guys fired up on that side of the ball.
And playing through that injured shoulder, so it's not as easy for him to make tackles these days. Here's a toss. Richardson. Suggs on the stop. 3-yard pickup.
Well, you look at the last 9 meetings. I mean, it's been really one-sided, and I've been listening to the Browns talk all week about how they've got to turn this into a physical game. They've got to be able to win at home. They've got to be able to win in the division. It's been a problem around here for way too long, losing 9 straight to a team like the Ravens.
And the Ravens, the former Cleveland Browns, still a degree of resentment here in Cleveland for the Ravens, a franchise that left Cleveland for Baltimore. Make matters worse, since the departure, Ravens have won a Super Bowl. They've been very successful over the years. Whedon could not find anyone, and then runs it out for the first down. This is the Browns' 14th season here in Cleveland.
Really nice play by Whedon. Very resourceful here. As you see them bring pressure. He's got an unmanned a guy on block, and now he's gonna just buy himself some time. Everybody's covered. Just good resourcefulness here. You see Whedon, he's just going to pull it down. Ed Reed's got to turn and cover, and he's able to get a first down. Just nice patience by the rookie quarterback.
6-yard run for Whedon. Richardson and Smith, the running backs. 1st and 10. Richardson. Ellaby on the stop, just picked up a yard on the play with just under 4 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter, and the Browns have taken over following that fast start by the Ravens, able to score on their very first possession. First time they've done that this season. Flacco opens up by hitting on his first 10 attempted passes. Now he's 11 of 17. And Whedon has come on here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he's been able to drive his team down the field, but now they get into the red zone and they stall. He can't settle for another field goal. They've been down here 3 times today and had to settle for field goals in each occasion.
2nd and 9, deep drop by Whedon. Took the long look, has to go short range, and the pass caught by Smith. They mark it at the 15, just a 2-yard pickup. Alex Smith, 6-year man out of Stanford. He's taken over the fullback slot, replacing fellow Stanford alum Owen Marisic. Although Smith considered a hybrid kind of a combination tight end fullback.
I think it gives him a little bit more versatility, particularly in the passing game.
3 wideouts on this 3rd and 6. Wheaton throws, and it's broken up. Ed Reed got a piece of it, intended for Massaquoi.
Well, you have to know where Ed Reed is at all times when you throw the ball across the middle of the field. You just see he's trying to bait Wheaton. He's trying to drive on that. You got to be able to hold him with your eyes. And when he's out of position, you got to make him pay. But Ed Reed taking advantage of the inexperience at quarterback.
All right, here is Phil Dawson from 33 yards away, looking to make it 4 of 4, and he does. Overall, that is 22 straight for Dawson. He's accounted for all the scoring, and now Cleveland is within 2. And right here, Rich, we're set for today's edition of our new feature, the Quickie Quiz, where I ask the questions, and Rich hopefully will have the answers. We've been talking about Cleveland being the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rich, you are a music buff. Can you name the exact title of this song and the artist? Two-parter.
Oh, I'm embarrassed. Put me on the spot. This is an easy one too, right?
We think so.
My brother's going to kill me.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
What is it?
We'll provide the answers after the kick. We hate
It's
to
definitely
depress.
from Motown. I'm trying to think. I know it's not the Supremes.
This is not a quiz of elimination. We want.
I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm embarrassed. I don't know the answer to that.
Stalling.
And you're
No, don't.
that's not,
Don't.
how's that helping me? He's giving me numbers.
Oh,
He didn't give me the answer.
I was afraid our smarter Mike Bazemore was giving you a cheat sheet. Here is Jones running it out. Gets across the 20, 22-yard return. Ray Ventrone making the stop, and they'll have to unravel these two teams. All right, here it is. The name of the song, Mama Said.
I knew that much.
The artist, the
Shirelles.
Yes.
Darn.
Released in 1961, and the Shirelles were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland back in 1996.
You get me every week with those quizzes.
That's the idea. First and 10 for the Ravens. Ray Rice. And he's been held in check after the good start. Just a yard for Rice.
Well, they've done a much better job, as you said, Marv, in the second half, containing Ray Rice. And, you think about getting healthy on defense, getting healthy inside, I think has made a big difference. Getting Phil Taylor back. You look at the numbers, really tell the story. The rushing yards in the first quarter as opposed and since. Not a lot of big holes for Ray Rice.
Second down and 8 for the Ravens. Rice again stopped. This time it's the weak side linebacker, Kaluka Mayaba. 4-year man from Southern Cal.
And big Phil Taylor as well. They've been starting 2 rookies inside a tackle the last few weeks, Billy Wynn and John Hughes. And they've been starting in place at the top of Reuben, who's close to coming back. And, of course, Phil Taylor, the 2 starters, so at least they get one back this week. And he's made his presence felt inside against that Baltimore offensive line.
Time running out of this third quarter, a third down and 9. Now Flacco from the shotgun. High pass, almost intercepted. Usama Young, the free safety, leaping for it, unable to come down with it. And Flacco and the Ravens head back to the sideline. The punting unit will come on. 4th straight 3 and out for the Ravens. Cribbs is back. And Cook punting from his 8. Cribbs angling left. Broke a tackle and reaches across the 45-yard line. 44-yard punt, 12-yard return. Laquan Williams on the tackle. All right, let's go to New York, JB.
A familiar combination, Dalton to Green.
Well, after the first interception by Peyton Manning in this game, Andy Dalton finds A.J. Green back at the end zone. 17-13 Broncos. Peyton Manning just threw his second interception, giving Cincinnati great field position.
Now in the fourth, Greg, make that Marv Albert or Rich Gannon.
All right, guys, AFC North standings, Baltimore on top, followed by Pittsburgh, then Cincinnati, then Cleveland. As you see, a number of flags come flying.
False start. Number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is the right guard, Sean Laval. First penalty on the Browns. Let's get back to JB and Boomer.
Hungry running style by the vegan.
That's right. Jim Brown was a great running back, and so is Arian Foster. They knew how to get into the end zone. That's exactly what Arian Foster does. 14-9 Houston over Buffalo.
Did you say Marv did hoops last night?
I did. I think he did. The neck game.
Marv and Rich.
No, I must say I did not.
False start. Number 77 of the offense.
I was resting.
5 yards penalty. Still first down.
False start is called.
Well, they were so clean in the first half, no penalties, and look right there.
You know, you hate to correct.
Greco.
You hate to correct those who do updates, Rich. You know, it's on the fly.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can. Boomer's doing a lot of different things. Thought he heard you. Must have thought he heard you calling the Nets.
You're saying he's doing too many things in his multitasking
He's a busy boy. We know that, right? Got his radio show and we're in the play clock again.
And they will call for time. So the Browns use their first with the play clock running down. Head coach Pat Shurmur says, "I'll take the timeout."
Well, that's off of a penalty now. They're not getting a couple things here. It's all about communication, how important it is. You've got to get the plays in quicker to the young quarterback. You've got to make the substitutions. You've got to get the right people, right personnel on the field. You've got to be able to call the play and get to the line of scrimmage. They're not giving themselves enough time at the line of scrimmage. There'll be a sense of urgency when you watch this Cleveland offense. That'll drive coaches crazy. Brad Childress calls the plays. So you see him right there in the middle of your screen. He calls them down to Pat Shurmur. And Pat Shurmur actually calls them in to Brandon Weeden.
First down and 20 for the Browns. Weeden setting up the screen. Richardson taken down at the 37-yard line in honor of Veterans Day. For every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $100 to each of its non-profit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. 4 wideouts being shown by the Browns. 2nd and 19. Weeden to the near side for Richardson. Eight-yard advance. As this third quarter rolls down, the ball is placed at the Browns' 45, setting up a 3rd and 11, and that'll do it for the third quarter. That's the end of 3 here in Cleveland. 14-12 lead for the Ravens. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. Back in Cleveland, Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. The Cleveland Browns bouncing back, trying to make it 3 wins the last 4 games. Ravens following the bye week, trying to come back from the bad loss against the Texans in Houston 2 weeks ago. Pressure there from Donnell Ellerbe. And as a result, punting unit will come on.
Boy, Ellerbe came screaming through there. Linebackers have played well for the Ravens. You look at McClain and Ellerbe, and particularly inside. a much better job stopping the run.
Fourth punt coming up here for Reggie Hodges. Kobe Jones is back and calls for the fair catch. 44-yarder by Hodges. And let's see if Joe Flacco can find the magic that we saw earlier this afternoon. Just getting underway here in the fourth quarter, and the Ravens starting out at their 11-yard line. Ray Rice in the backfield. This is Rice trying to dance his way. Nothing there. Hit by Jabal Sheard.
Well, it's really been that way all day. You look at this Browns defense. The one thing about them, they play hard. And they fly around. They're physical. They're getting hits. Nice job flying to the football and getting good pressure on Joe Flacco. And this is a defense that has played a whole lot better the last 3 weeks.
Second and 10. Rice with just 1 yard to show the last 5 carries. That is dropped. Dropped by the tight end, Ed Dixon. Covered by Mayava and covered well. We're ready for another update. JB and Boomer Esiason.
Terrence Newman has Manning's number.
Oh, Rich, don't you hate those pesky defensive backs when they blitz? Terrence Newman, his second interception on the day. This leads to a 1-yard touchdown run by Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Bengals take the lead, 27.
And Marv Albert?
Oh, yeah, Marv Albert. He didn't do the net game because it wasn't a national game.
Oh, it wasn't a national.
He only does national stuff these days.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon.
Boomer taking too much time to prepare his ad-libs. Flacco over the middle. Ray Rice reaching to the 15. Picked up 4. Raquel Jackson making the stop.
Wow, the Ravens really struggling on third down. 0 for their last 7 on third down. And the big reason why is they've had some big numbers. They're not doing a good enough job on the early downs. Struggling a little bit to get Ray Rice going.
So here is Sam Cook kicking once again to Josh Cribbs. 5th straight 3-and-out for the Ravens. Off the back pedal, here comes Cribbs. And he is racked up. Albert McClellan, backup linebacker, making the stop. Beautiful punt, 55 yards with an 8-yard return. Coming up next, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers going against Eli Manning and the New York Giants. A good one right here on CBS Sports. As we look at the AFC North standings, Ravens 5-2 coming in, Pittsburgh 4-3. So Baltimore with that 1 full game lead, Cincinnati 3 up, 4 down, and then the improved Browns at 2-6. Richardson is flank wide to the left side. And Richardson with the catch, spun around. Dropped by Ed Reed. Picked up 3.
I think Richardson has good hands, but this is a fastball for Brandon Weeden. He just whips it out here, and I think you see Richardson there. He's able to make the catch, but he's looking downfield because he knows Ed Reed's somewhere out in front of him.
Brandon Weeden, from his pitching days in the minor leagues with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Richardson. Meanwhile, the Ravens have done a nice job against Richardson in this second half. And again, it's Donnell Ellerbe, the inside linebacker. Ray Lewis sitting back and watching, would be proud of the work of the linebackers.
Absolutely. And you look at this Ravens defense, it's not the same Ravens defense we're used to. I mean, teams aren't afraid to run the ball at them right now. In the past, offensive coordinators would tell us that we're not even going to try and bang our head against the wall for 4 quarters. Rather, we'll spread them out and take our chances. But that's no longer the case. Now everybody's trying to tee off on them in the running game.
3rd and 6 for the Browns. Weeden off the roll, incomplete. And a flag down. Pass intended for Jordan Cameron, the backup tight end, covered by the left corner, Jimmy Smith.
Pass interference, defense, number 22. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, that's Jimmy Smith, who is starting for another key injured player, Ladarius Webb, who's on injured reserve.
Well, this is not good by Jimmy Smith. You see him holding, and then right here he's just going to grab him. I mean, he's covering a tight end. I mean, he had some problems. Last time we saw him with some double moves against Houston.
Richardson breaking a tackle. Works his way inside the 45. D'Angelo Tyson on the stop. So Richardson picks up 3. Tyson added to the roster. It's only his second NFL game. Played 2 weeks ago in the loss at Houston.
You look at those possessions right there. 6 times now they've been down in Ravens territory. They keep getting down there and stalling.
Greg Little now flank wide right. Richardson and Smith, the running backs. Whedon pets it. Gordon taken out of bounds inside the 35, and a Browns first down. Kerry Williams making the tackle.
Well, when Gordon figures things out, this guy is going to be a handful for defensive backs. He's so big and he's so strong. He's a huge target. He's a tremendous talent. He's got to become a more polished route runner, but you just got to find ways to get him the ball because he can make plays for you down the field.
That's a 12-yard pickup and a first down. Whedon again completes. Little with the catch. See where his forward progress is marked. Smith on the coverage, and it appears he picked up the 10. It is a first down again for the Browns. First down at the Baltimore 22.
Little curl route. You see Little up top. Just keep coming back and keep extending those hands. He's had a little bit of a problem catching the ball. It's the only thing that's really held him back. Put the ball on the ground too many times with some drops.
Look at the differential here, how the Browns have come on. Richardson moving the pile, goes for 4. Ellerby with the tackle.
You look at the Browns, and they've always played the Ravens tough in the past, and just listening to that group this week, they said we just have to find a way to make more plays than they do. We have to find a way to finish. We've been in games with the Ravens, but we haven't been able to finish. You look up in the red zone, this is a big reason why. Big reason why the score is what it is. They've had opportunities down here, but they've not been able to finish.
105 yards for Richardson, who last week had a career game, 122. Tough pass to handle. Whedon throwing to Richardson, may not have been expecting it.
That's a good play by Brandon Whedon. It's not there, and you're down. You can see him smile, but it's a smart play, throwing it away and living for another down. You can see they're trying to throw a screen back to the back. You see it taking a while to develop, and the Ravens aren't fooled. They're right there for Trent Richardson. They've gotten down here a bunch now, but they've not been good on third down. They stall because they can't convert third down in the red zone.
3rd and 6. A bullet throw, touchdown, Josh Gordon. $18-yard pass play, but there is a penalty on the far side. I see the yellow flag.
Illegal formation. Offense. The wideout covered up the tight end on the line of scrimmage. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
So it comes back.
Well, you've got a problem right here. You've got, I think that's the issue there, and there's the tight end. So you've got an illegal formation, and you see him moving prior to the snap. That's Obadiah. Chris Obadiah up top.
Obadiah listed as a running back, but he'll flank out and play tight end. He's a 3rd down specialist. Now 3rd and 11. Here's Richardson, and he is bottled up. Courtney Upshaw, the first Raven to get to him. And here comes Phil Dawson looking to give the Browns the lead. Here's the new owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, reacting to that touchdown taken away by the penalty. This is a 41-yard field goal. Dawson has hit on his previous 4. And this one is good. 5 out of 5 for Phil Dawson. He's hit his last 23. The Browns take the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Windows 8. FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars and find the best deal on Autotrader.com.
It has been a good one here in Cleveland. Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. Phil Dawson just connected on his 5th field goal. His 4th game with 5 or more made field goals. Jacoby Jones back deep for the Ravens. And Jones runs it out to the 10. Down he goes just shy of the 20-yard line. A 21-yard return. Tank Carter covering up. Cleveland leads it 15-14.
Yeah, virtually no offense in the second half for the Baltimore Ravens. You see that 5 straight 3 and outs. They've got 4 yards of total offense here in the second half.
15 unanswered points by the Browns to take the lead. Flacco on a short set. Torrey Smith could not hang on. How about Ray Rice? 13 carries, 66 yards in the first half. Certainly receiving the touches. Second half, he's carried the ball 5 times for 1 yard.
Yeah, they go through these funks on offense where they go 4 or 5 series where they can't get a first down. Can't find a completion.
Bernard Price, the rookie from Temple, now at running back for the Ravens. Play fake. Flacco's pass right on target for a first down and more. Anquan Bolden able to make the catch. Good for 21. That's catch number 5 for Bolden.
And the big plays today in the passing game have come off of play action. Just a 2-man route. You see Joe Hayden turns him loose. Knowing that he's got help. What a real nice sell job there by Joe Flacco.
And again in the no huddle, Bernard Pierce with a short pickup. Joe Flacco in his 5th year out of your alma mater, the Blue Hens of Delaware. And Joe, the highest drafted player ever from Delaware.
First-round pick, transferred from the University of Pittsburgh. And you look at the career that he's had so far down there. Every year that he's been there, they've made the postseason and won a playoff game.
2nd and 8 again, the play fake, and Flacco throws it away. Bolden in the area was covered, and there is a flag.
Personal foul. Number 43 in the defense. Roughing the passer. Hit above the neck. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Well, they call this one on T.J. Ward. He's going to come in a little bit high late. Just watch Joe Flacco as he lets go of this. To the right of your screen, you're going to see T.J. Ward there. He just kind of clubs him around the shoulder. And I don't know about all that. I know they're going out of the way to protect quarterbacks, but and I wish that rule was in play when I was playing. My gosh. They let you kill the quarterbacks back then.
You sound bitter.
I am bitter.
1st and 10 for the Ravens. And Flacco's pass is caught by the tight end Dixon. Usama Young and Taluka Mayava on the tackle. That's just a 3-yard pickup. 7:15 remaining in this 4th quarter. The Ravens find themselves trailing the Browns. They will have a 2nd and 7 at the Cleveland 39. The last time that Cleveland came up with a win against Baltimore, November 2007. That was that 33-30 overtime victory here in Cleveland. Rice finds some space and battles his way for the first down. Finally able to locate running room. Young made the stop. Rice goes for 10.
Boy, that was a nice hole. Again, a lot of the big runs on that left side of that offensive line. They're doing a nice job up front. You see the movement they're getting there. Bobby Williams and Michael Orr.
And the Ravens right back to it. Rice once again able to find the running room, and he's submarined by T.J. Ward inside the 20, but a flag comes in. We await the call from Jeff Triplett.
Jeff Triplett's waiting the call from his line judge. They're having a little conference up there, trying to figure out what's going on.
Hear the boos from the crowd directed.
Too many men, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
Well, let's see what they've got. They've got a bunch of them here. Well, here's where they get them. They get them off running off the field. This is the issue right here. Didn't make it off the field.
Total penalties, and these are accepted penalties. Baltimore hit for 7 for 67 yards. Cleveland only 4 for 31 yards. Pierce in the backfield, 1st and 10 for the Ravens. And here's Pierce trying to make the turn, looking for the edge, could not. Good job by Sheldon Brown, the right corner, who would not allow Pierce to make that turn. So it's a loss of 2.
Well, you see it do a good job stringing it. And Parker, he's going to push him, and then right here Sheldon Brown gets him up a little bit high, catches him right under the front shoulder pad, just whips him back. Not a horse collar tackle, doesn't get him in the back, actually gets his hand on the front part of his shoulder pad.
Baltimore 2nd down and 12, just outside the 20-yard line, coming up on 5 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Here's Rice. Looks like he has the lively legs back here in the 4th quarter. Stopped by DeQuell Jackson after a 2-yard gain.
Well, he should. You know, they had the bye week, and of course they've been mixing in Pierce a little bit, and this is really where this guy's at his best. I think late in games and in the second half of the season.
21 carries, 89 yards as the Ravens move into Justin Tucker range. 3rd down and 10. Flacco to the right flat. He has Smith. Smith is in for the touchdown. Beautiful spin move down at the 5. Goes 19 in all, and the Ravens are back on top.
Well, you get a real appreciation, I think, for Torrey Smith's speed. I mean, it's just a little under route. Joe Hayden's there, but just one quick move. Just watch. He's just going to run 5 yards up and then back in. And now a good throw there. He gets it to him in plenty of time. It gives Torrey Smith a chance to turn upfield and make a play. But you don't appreciate his short area quickness and his burst. Got that straight line speed, but he's also very, very good in short areas.
And the Ravens huddled up, and they will go for 2.
Up by 5.
Rice, the running back.
See Joe here signaling to the receivers.
Flacco throwing. He has a wide open target, and Quan Bolden makes the catch for the 2-point conversion. So Baltimore is up by 7 with 4:26 to go here in the 4th. The touchdown pass handled by Quan Bolden.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own tender, juicy Subway steak melt today.
Well, the Browns had scored 15 unanswered points, and on that last drive, 10 plays, 81 yards, and 4 minutes and 22 seconds, plus the two-point conversion, Ravens back on top by 7. Deep kick, and Cribbs has to let it go. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. You can help the victims of disasters like Hurricane Sandy. Text Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. CBS cares. John Harbaugh telling us the other day, similar to Pat Shurmur, he lost power at his house. And
How to use a generator.
yeah, he said he was not exactly Mr. Techie. He had to call on neighbors to help him out, get the generator going. 4 whiteouts for the Browns. Whedon throwing to the far side. It is caught. Good coverage, though. Catch made by Massaquoi, but not able to make the move because Corey Graham had him wrapped up. Well, to look at the rookie career, Brandon Whedon, his one game-winning touchdown drive. They try to throw sideline again, looking for Massaquoi, who was covered by Ellaby. What a game for Donnell Ellaby in terms of tackles and quarterback hurries. Third down and 4 for the Browns. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Richardson is now flanked to the left. And Breeden goes the other way. Catch played by Little, but short of the first down. It's just a 2-yard gain, and it brings up a 4th down and 2.
Really amazing. You got 3rd and 5, and you run a 3-yard route, and you come back and catch it. I mean, that's just poor execution. Got to make sure you get to the numbers. Get to the down marker.
Well, what do you think here, Rich? Is this, at this point, 4 down territory?
Well, look at their situation. Down by a touchdown. You've got 2 timeouts. Defense has played pretty well here in the second half.
Right out of the gun, here's Whedon way off, intended for Little. And Browns hearing the boos.
Well, they'll be second guessed. Within probably a better situation with 2 timeouts left and 3:50 to punt the ball and take your chances with the way your defense is playing.
Instead, the Ravens take over on downs inside the Cleveland 30.
Well, you got to give him a chance. The problem is he's got to throw over a safety. Pollard's right there, and he's actually in the way of the slant route, which makes it hard for Whedon to fit that one in there. Poor execution by the Browns, not just on that play, but on the 3rd down play when they had 3rd and 5. Can't run a 2 or 3 yard route on 3rd and 5. Or the mistakes today as they look back. A bunch of mistakes down in the red zone. Their inability to convert 3rd downs. It's been a problem for this offense all season.
Ravens 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 28-yard line, of the play is stopped.
Going to be a false start on the offense there.
False start. Number 73 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is the right guard, Marshall Yonda, 6-year man from Iowa. Made it to the Pro Bowl for the first time last year. They have Matt Burke at center, Yonda and Williams at the guards, Orr and Osemele are at the tackles. And Ja Reed, playing his first game of the season, has been playing tight end on this series. Normally an offensive lineman. Rice gets the call, picks up 3. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher, and they'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Second down and 12 for Baltimore at the Cleveland 30-yard line. Ravens trying to go to 6-2. They make it 5 wins their last 6 games. 10 straight against the Browns as Rice is stopped by Sheard. And we have something going on. Vontae Leach, the Baltimore.
Well, you got to be smart here.
Yeah, T.J. Ward.
You've got a 7-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the game. And last thing you can afford is a personal foul.
So the Browns take a timeout. Rich, here is my vote as you look at John Harbaugh for most creative celebration of Halloween this past week. Now this was passed on to us. 49ers head coach Jim Harbaugh dressed up as brother John Harbaugh. We showed John this photo last night, and his reaction, he said, you know, Jim's neck looks freakishly skinny.
It does. Oh, that's pretty good. I can't imagine he got a lot of candy in the Bay Area dressed up as a Ravens head coach, right?
Tyrod Taylor, the backup quarterback, has just checked in for the Ravens, and Taylor looking to run. Taylor, a second-year player out of Virginia Tech, a 6th-round draft pick. And now Cleveland calls for time. It is a 4th and 6 when we resume. Thanks to Ravens Executive Vice President Kevin Byrne for passing on that grainy cell phone photo. Jim did a good job.
Yeah, it's funny how when we sat down with John last night, he was picking on his younger brother. He said he's a bigger and stronger and a better athlete, but look at his neck. He said, I think I got a bigger neck. You know, I really think that was a mistake by the Browns not to punt the football with a timeout situation. And now you give essentially the Ravens great field position. All they've got to do is kick a field goal, and this game is essentially over. I mean, there was poor clock management by Pat Shurmur and the Browns.
This will be a 43-yard attempt by Justin Tucker, the rookie from Texas, who is 14 of 15 on the season and has the strong leg. He's hit 4 from 50 plus, and this one is right through. So that makes it a 2-possession game. The holder is the punter, Sam Cook, who did a nice job after taking the snap from Morgan Cox. Take a look. It's a high snap. Able to put it down. Did not have real good possession of the ball, but was able to guide it down.
And he did the most important thing. He spun those laces and got him in front.
Yeah.
Those kickers hate those laces.
I mentioned earlier that the Ravens are in a stretch playing 4 of 5 games on the road. Next week, home for the Raiders, then at Pittsburgh in a Sunday night game, then San Diego, at San Diego, and back home for Pittsburgh, followed by at Washington and Denver. That is a very difficult schedule remaining.
It is, and the Raiders are even playing better defensively, and got the running game going a little bit with Darren McFadden. So, yeah, tough schedule coming up for the Ravens over the next 5 weeks.
Cribbs is deep in the end zone, and he will run it out. No choice here. Oh, took a hit and comes up short of the 15-yard line. Anthony Allen made the contact. For the Browns, next week is their bye week. Then it is at Dallas, back home for Pittsburgh. They're at Oakland. And then a couple of home games against Kansas City and Washington. But it's got to be a disappointing performance. Even though they came back, they had the 15 consecutive points. They led by 1.
You're still learning how to win as a young football team. There's nothing worse than losing as you head into your bye. Just ask the Ravens.
Whedon is able to get away and then slides right near the 20-yard line. Picked up 4 on the play. So unless there's a dramatic turn, the Browns will drop to 2-7 after winning 2 of their last 3 games. And Whedon's pass is off the mark and intended for the tight end, Benjamin Watson.
Well, you can just tell the Browns still have a ways to go. And it's these type of games that you get into tight games at the end, you learn how to have some poise, learn to be able to finish drives off in the red zone, and be able to get off the field on 3rd down. And it's a team like the Ravens that expects to win these type of games, whereas the Browns are still learning.
The Browns have not won a division title since returning to NFL play back in 1999. Whedon in trouble. And now throws downfield. It is intercepted. It is picked off by Ed Reed. His 3rd pick of the season. He now has 11 in 21 career games against the Browns.
And we've talked about this a number of times today. You have to know where he is at all times. A lot of times you think he's out of position, but he's just baiting a quarterback. And you just see Ed Reed, he's got such great closing speed that you've got to be able to factor that in to the equation. And you can't be late with your eyes, and you can't be late with throws when you play against a player like Ed Reed. You've got to do a good job anticipating. The ball's got to come out on time, and that has not been the case today with Brandon Whedon.
And number 60 for his illustrious career, Devontae Leach. Getting up to midfield, picked up 4, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Baltimore with a 25-15 lead over Cleveland. Now look at the AFC North standings. So with the victory here today, Baltimore goes to 6-2. Pittsburgh plays the Giants in the late game at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. Game that will be seen on CBS. Cincinnati was trailing Denver in the final minutes. Rice off the 2nd and 6 play picked up 4, and the Browns fall to 2-7 as they look ahead to their bye week next week.
Well, the one thing we know about the Ravens is they don't stay in a funk for very long. They've not lost 2 games in a row since 2009, and they've been very good coming off of the bye under that gentleman right there, John Harbaugh. 5-0 now coming off of a bye.
And this will make it 10 consecutive wins for the Ravens over the Browns. Ravens bouncing back from that walloping in Houston 2 weeks ago. They make it 5 wins their last 6 games. Timeout taken.
Baltimore.
It's called by the Ravens. And Baltimore has won an NFL best 11 consecutive division games. Well, the last time that Cleveland beat Baltimore is back in 2007, trailing by 3 points. Phil Dawson's field goal attempt on the final play of the game initially is ruled no good. However, replay overturned the call as the ball crossed the upright before bouncing out. And in overtime, Dawson connected on a 33-yard attempt as the Browns won it 33-30. That was back November 18th, 2007. Rice gets the call again, stopped by Maiava. Picked up a yard. See, the clock is running. We come up on a minute remaining. And John Harbaugh able to guide his team to a turn after the bye week, preceded by the loss in Houston. The longest active win streak.
5-5.
In the AFC North, Joe Flacco on his quarterback sneak.
That'll do it.
So the Ravens pick up the first down. And that will do it. Final numbers, Joe Flacco hit his first 10, 15 to 25, 153 yards and a touchdown. Ray Rice bounces back with 25 carries, 99 yards. Did most of his damage early. Whedon, 20 of 37, 176 yards. There's the final. Baltimore wins it 25-15 over Cleveland. Coming up next, game 2 of the NFL on CBS doubleheader, the Steelers and the Giants. So for Rich Gannon, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from Cleveland. Now it's time for the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance.